not sitting there much.
You good? I think Chris got it. Looks like it's moving the meters anyway. You said the plan? Okay. Everybody will get started. Everybody stay in Palm Beach. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Heavenly Father, we're just asking you to watch over this meeting tonight and be with our commissioners, help them make good decisions for our county. Be with the citizens of the county as they go about their lives throughout the week. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, good evening, everybody. I will make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from last week.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 I'll make a motion, we pay the claims in the amount of $548,132.65.
I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We also need to reschedule next week's meeting to Tuesday, since Monday is Labor Day.
I'll make a motion, we reschedule the meeting for next Tuesday at 9 a.m. instead of Monday because of Labor Day.
I'll second that motion.
Motion been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 And then you don't necessarily have to do it now, but I've got the election abstract here for you guys to sign that we approved last week, so. Before you get away.
We're going to go ahead and do it.
We can do it now. Fine with me if you want to.
There's 2 pages for each of them. Tabs. Alright, so one there, the other one is gonna be right here. Spot for 3 canvassers to sign. The reason there's 2 is it's all the Republicans on one list and it goes in all the crap. Alright, so that takes care of everything in canvas. Just to let you know, there was one township that had the same person written in for trustee and treasurer, and he received enough votes on both of them to be a candidate in November, but you can't be on the ballot twice. I contacted him. He said he did not want either office, so he sent me a letter declining the nominations on both of them. So, well, it'll be a vacancy, well, 2 vacancies because no one got enough votes. I will talk to the people that are currently in those offices, see if they're willing to do it again. If they are, then you guys just appoint them.
Okay.
That was Scott Township because nobody filed. There are some other townships that didn't have anyone either, but we'll work through that. I mean, the people that are in office stay in until the end of the year anyway. So we'll work on that as we go, try to get all the offices filled up. There's 2 other spots where people with write-ins won, and they still have a few more days. If they don't want the office, they can decline, but I haven't heard from those 2 yet.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's it for me for now.
All right. AMR. Randy, you want to go ahead and go?
Good evening, Commissioners. Randy Higwell, Linn County Rural Fire Emergency Management. I sent out this week's call numbers. We had 13 calls, bring our yearly total to 362. I also have an application for a student observer. Student is a student in the STARS program and attends the Pleasanton High School. He is a senior this year, 17 years of age. I have all the documentation that's needed. He would serve under Station 920, which is Pleasanton, and Station 960, Prescott, because of where he lives. He kind of lives in between the two. Student is Easton Anderson. I'd like permission to allow him to be a student observer. That'd bring us up to 4 observers currently.
I'll make a motion that we approve Easton Anderson for stations 920 and 960 as a student observer.
I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The only other thing I have for you guys is, and I talked to David the other day about this, with the fire department, we have FRA, it's Fireman Relief Association. Based on state statute, we cannot write a check for over $1,500 without attorney approval. And I asked David, what attorney do we need to use to get that pushed through so we can pay our premiums for insurance and stuff? I want to kind of get your guys' take on it. If you want me to send that to Burton or who would like review that document.
I think Burton's our go-to, right?
Don't know what else we do at this point.
I'd be good with sending it through.
Okay. That's all I have unless you guys have something.
I don't.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Don't see anybody from AMR here. That's a spot where I can't see them. We've got their report.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. The monthly ambulance report for August 1st through the 25th. Blue Mound, 6 calls, 2 transports. Centerville, 5 calls, 2 transports. Lacing, 10 calls, 6 transports. Linn Valley, 4 with 3 transports. Mountain City, 18 with 12 transports. Parker, 12 calls with 5 transports. Pleasanton, 18 calls with 8 transports. Prescott, 2 calls with 1 transport, for a total of 76 calls and 38 transports.
And I have not received a report from Sheriff on the prisoners. I don't know if he's planning on being here a little later when that executive session is scheduled or not. It does concern some of his dispatch employees, so. Lisa contacted me after I got over here. She's got someone she'd like to hire. If you want
You want to go ahead and come up and talk?
Executive session?
Do we need to?
to, it depends. I mean, have you already got everything worked out or?
She's agreed to take the job, so, and I've talked to her about her salary, so.
Okay.
That's all. You could just announce it out here and get their approval unless you guys
Okay.
want to go in and talk about it first.
I mean, you've already or put an ad in the paper and all that and read.
There has been an ad in the paper. I've been interviewing off and on. I'm looking for 2 employees. So I found one that I'd like to hire and she's accepted the position. So with your permission, I'd like to hire Grace Springer bring her in at appraiser 1 at an 8A at 14 or 17.4665 per hour. I have another one that I have offered the second position to. He's still thinking about it, so I'll know in a few days.
You said Grace Springer?
Grace Springer, yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve Grace Springer for the appraiser's office as an appraiser 1 at salary range 8A.
Thank you.
I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, thank you.
All right, well, nothing from sheriff yet. Fire, Sean?
Sean West, Public Works Administrator. Pronouns you asked for. If we could, you're going to need executive session for non-elected personnel.
How long?
5 minutes, and I'll skip over line 1 until we finish that.
You want to go in there right now?
I would think we could go ahead and get the first part of this before we get into that. I have your request for rock testing. The two companies that were queried in our area and listed. Sorry.
And this testing's for, to make sure there's not too much lime in it, right? Is that correct?
This would be gradation testing. One is from our on-call engineer. The other, another company, more local, I believe near Lenexa. As you can see, Baldridge LCC gave a scope of service accepting samples at their lab obtained by county personnel performing gradations for KDOT KT2 methods, 1/1/2 max aggregate size, provide gradation report, fee schedule, on-site material testing and observation, $100 an hour, material sampling if requested, a minimum of 2 hours. That would be if they came to collect. Materials taken to them, gradation samples, laboratory testing, $100 each. Engineering services, professional engineering and administrative assistant. Professional engineering would be at $150 an hour and $75 an hour for an administrative assistant. Where Call Valley gave just perform gradation testing and provide emailed test results at $200 a test, and an $80 travel time or charge tacked on if we have to send someone to get the sample. So if we pulled the samples to either lab, one lab would do it for $100 per sample, the other for $200 per sample.
Did we ever figure out, did Harry Wisdom do the testing before?
I was never able to figure out who operated that and what they performed and what type of report, or if there was ever any report generated from that.
Did they not bring in tested samples for us one time in a bunch of buckets?
This is before my time, if that was something that was done or occurred.
That was on the chips that, since I've been on here.
I'm being told by some contractors in the county too, that the AB3 is what we use a lot of. And we can even request an AB1 to have the quarry make it, where it might be a little cleaner rock versus having all the linemen. And I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just telling you what I've been told. Maybe that's an option we need to talk to the quarries about. You know, in the different places we use it. No, but it's I've seen problems on hills,
Where it compacts down and causes the roof.
or it's real loose. And then, you know, it just depends on where you're at and the location of the road, what you're wanting to use. It's,
So Baldridge is cheaper.
Correct.
And they're located in Paola, so we won't have to drive them to Topeka.
When the
That's
quarry,
the,
when the quarries do a cut or whatever it's called, whenever they get their rock or however that works, do they not have results from that? I mean, on
Yes.
site?
I was told they do it when they crush and periodic testing as well.
By like an
just
outside.
show up and adjust the rock.
Can we request that? I mean,
We have the ones from a few weeks ago that were sent out.
Yeah. And we can request that at any time.
How much rock does it take for each test? You know? How big a sample are we
There's
taking
a 5-gallon bucket.
for each test? Is 5 gallon.
have we ever talked to the quarries and told them what do they know what we want, or do we have
I had a meeting with one of the quarries or their representatives last week. And during that meeting, the largest take from that meeting that I was able to take from is that 2025 could possibly see increases anywhere from 8 to 10% on rock prices. So I would say it was a productive, but not a very positive meeting.
And Whitaker offered to come in and meet with us
And
to go over those reports that we have.
reports and tell you how to read and interpret those reports.
Right.
Let's have him come in and talk to us.
Okay.
what's the other ones?
Ham.
Should we bring him in too, or them? Didn't they?
We have
come in?
reports from Ham. I think, wasn't Whitaker just gonna,
Just going to go over the reports, show you what you're looking at, how to interpret it, and what the gradations mean.
okay.
Let's have them both come in and talk to us and better idea of what we're doing.
Would it be ideal to have, at least one of our foremans in-house that's competent, as like a competent person to know what we need, where on the road, the size? Is there some kind of training for it?
Not that I'm aware of.
Like for the testing? Because
For the testing, I'm sure there is, and there's also not only training for that, but training for concrete, but the laboratory itself, to have a laboratory capable of testing it other than what you have currently, which is an old, what I would call a field test. To have someone trained in that, I'm sure it's possible, but I would have to look into the logistics of it.
I mean, I don't think it'd be much different than like core samples for concrete whenever they come out and test that. I mean, surely. I don't know, yeah, I guess we want to bring them in and talk to them and negotiate the price too.
Good luck.
I can have,
That's good with it.
or make contact and see when they're available to meet with you. Our office received a letter for Linn County Ecom Foundation. Would assume it's a bank statement that I'm not sure where to deliver or what to.
I'll get it to Janet and see if it's something she needs.
Okay. Next thing I had was BP 2024-25, ADB Companies, 1850 east to Perry Lane, and then north to a tower site that hasn't been installed yet.
Where is it at, Sean?
Hard copy.
Okay. I don't recall seeing it in the packet.
That was the original one that I sent out that had no number
Last
prior
week.
to, because we didn't have all the details of it at that time.
So they met with everybody involved.
It's dead, and we have a representative to speak on the company's behalf. I'll tell you, from the get-go, we looked at this project and the handholds, and you've got some photographs that I sent to you as Jesse walked this project. The top photograph in that group of photographs that I gave you is going to be one of those handholds, and the conduit has already been laid in this project. And we'll have some explanation of that, but the fiber has not been pulled through. Jesse and I checked the boxes. The only two we had questions were at the very end of the project, and they were not an obstacle or a problem, but they were a little bit closer than we'd like, and they can be moved prior to the pull. Well, come on up.
How we doing?
All right.
How are you?
So what happened here is I just took over the Kansas City region, and I had some prints and some work to get done, and I sent the crew down there. I did not know, because usually when I receive everything from my customer, we have everything in place. I was in St. Louis dealing with the stuff out there, and I slipped on this one. We did place the conduit. We have not done anything else, because as soon as I found out we needed a permit, we went to apply for it.
And you're with Landtel?
No, ADB companies.
HB.
What is your name?
Jason Stover.
Jason Silver. Okay. Okay.
No, I'm definitely not Landtel.
Okay, sorry about that.
So you guys, what's this? This
The others I'll speak about later.
Oh, that's not part of it?
Photographs for later on in my report. You're looking only at the top photograph.
So all the conduits already laid?
Unfortunately, yes.
And that's on the Evergy line coming from the,
No.
No, this is for a cell site. They're building a new cell site there.
oh, okay. I know what you're talking about now.
1850
Yeah.
Brooklyn Ridge. area.
Total on this project's just over a mile and a half.
And it's 7,500 feet
Okay.
and 10 small vaults.
And some of this is in our right of way.
Yes.
And how long ago did this all occur?
A couple weeks ago.
We've had a heck of a problem with this type of stuff. So
No, I understand 100% when I spoke to him and he told me what you guys had going on with them long haul projects and guys going in the roads. And we don't do stuff like that. I mean, we have to keep our conduit at 42 inches for our customer. And we always stay on the back side of the right of way. I mean, that's where you're supposed to put your stuff.
Back there towards the fence.
Yeah. I mean, you want to be away from
This
the road.
isn't there.
Huh?
And this isn't there.
Yeah, we're back on the back side of the right of way.
All of those,
It's all right along the fence.
all of those, except the last two boxes and the last two handholds are down Perry Lane, and they are not what I or the foreman considered in a bad location, but they're next to a field, so you'd have to split the difference. We could ask them to move those last two, but those last two are not.
And that's a dead end road.
Yes, they are not obstructions. If you permitted it the way it is, it would be, as far as the foreman and I are both considered, it would be just fine. Everything is on the back slope and out of our way as it sits.
So
And I feel the reasoning for the ones being where they're at up there is because there's a pole line, and usually the pole line is the back of your right of way. And they're in line with that pole line, which he was talking about. Them poles will probably have to be moved anyways because they're like 2-3 foot off the roadway.
So is there like an industry standard of what the depth of this is in the ground, your conduit?
I'll provide a butterfly. I'll provide depths and offsets and everything. And this is not typically how I do stuff. I promise you that. This was,
Well, will this ever create us trouble if somebody builds down this road and decides we need to clean the ditches out or anything like that? Is there?
The ditches aren't gonna be an issue, but if they build down that road, we're gonna, if we had to move this, we're gonna have to go electrical pole. Because it is right in line with those, and that's why Jesse and I both felt that as it sets, it could be approved the way it sets, because everything is on the back slope.
I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot.
Well, we went out to the western end of the county and made them move poles and everything else. So where do we change this? Should we continue with the procedure that we're into, or should we?
I'll move all the hand poles back.
Well, and I would, the last two handhold, I would be concerned about moving those because you're gonna be at the edge of a field as well, and it's gonna cause the farmer that is operating that field more trouble than it's gonna cause us. They're in a position where both they're on the back slope and they're not interfering with the private property owner's farm operation at this time.
Is the right of way, what's the width of the right of way? Does the right of way go past the poles or our right of way?
Our right of way in that location, I can't give you an exact on the right of way I gave just on the burial standards for the measurement off the center line of the roadway and off the edges of the roadway.
We should know what from the center line of the road, what our right of way is. If the pole's there, that might not be our right of way. The poles could be in our right of way also, right?
It could be.
I'd like to know the measurements of it. See where we're at.
Have we come up with a standard policy on all this stuff yet?
I've been unable to rewrite all of that at this point.
Fortunate for you, we don't have a policy.
Well, like I said, this is not the way I produce business. I run a lot of work for our company. And this is the first time I'm having to eat crow on something, so.
What do you guys, I mean, so you're gonna provide us as built? I mean, are we gonna be able?
Yes.
what we run into other companies is, they give us a straight line route of where their line went, but there's no depth, there's no nothing on it.
All my documentation I have turned in my customer has to have offsets and depths every 50 foot.
Every 50 foot?
And I can provide better if I need to, but that's usually what I provide for my customers, every 50 foot, an offset and an edge of pavement or edge of curb.
But just something so that we can understand it, because I don't know your industry.
It'll be a PDF. I'll type it all up on it. It'll be, really easy to navigate through.
What do you guys think?
Well, I don't want to just go off the pole line myself.
This is a dead-end road.
Might be a dead end road, but who's to say somebody's not going to build down there? Is it a county line road? Is it a county road?
It's a lane.
Okay.
But any materials, same as our last conversation, any materials that are required to be moved in the future would be moved by the company if it's in our way.
I'm okay with that. Knowing where it is and how minimal traffic is down that lane.
I think it's important that we get our policy put together and,
We're dealing with two of these right now, so why do we want to?
yeah,
This will be three.
so there's two manholes, you said?
I think there's 10.
I know that's in the questionable place.
At the very end.
How big of a deal would that be to,
No big deal at all. I can move them right away.
could you do that? Would you guys be happy with that? Would you be happy with that
Move them.
if you moved them?
Yeah, me and him, when we were out there, we kind of made an idea spot where to move them to. That way it's not impacting the field and it's just moving them a couple more feet back into the right of way. That is no issue.
I would think we should know where our right of way is in the road. What our distance is, just because we shouldn't go off of the pole, we should know what our right of way is. And get it to as far back on our right of way as we could is the way I'd like to see it.
Okay. Will do.
I appreciate you coming and, we're, like I said, he said we have issues going on with this.
We got two other issues.
No, I
We got
understand.
issues going on, and I just think there's time that we better decide how we're gonna do this and do it the
Do it the right way.
same way with everybody.
Yep. No, understood. That's why I drove 5.5 hours to make sure I come talk to you guys about it.
Okay.
All right. You guys got any more questions for him?
I don't.
All right. Kevin, right?
Jason.
Or Jason, sorry. All right. Well, welcome to Linn County. Sean?
Need a approval on the building permit or the burial permit, right? Sure. I'll make a motion. We approve burial permit 2024-07 for Kevin Sargent of ADB Companies LLC for fiber optic cable and conduit construction, subject to them moving the last two handholds.
I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sean, do we need to sign this somewhere?
Yes.
Back page or something.
Yeah, so how did we come up with that number?
There are no crossings, it's just a straight line number for the number of feet.
Seems pretty minimal.
As I said, it's kind of a short, for these type of runs, it's kind of a short project.
Thank you, Danny.
Is that the only place?
Yes. And if you'll attach that to it, I'll get your copy. thing I had for you was the courthouse stairs. You'll notice they started and finished the front. I don't know if they'd spoken to you, Danny, about the handrails and whether or not we have a plan for those. Days prior to beginning this project, the front handrail come undone on the front steps and came off of it. So my recommendation is to let them to finish the project if it wasn't a part of that, and then bid that part of the project out to have them built and tapped in to the finished project.
Ryan, you good with that?
Okay.
You guys good with that?
I am.
Is there any way we could put concrete, or go ahead and get some steel to put in it? Which way is the best way to drill it, or is
Probably
it
just
to have
tap on it down.
drilled in? Okay.
The way the old ones were in, they were sank in and there was no way to repair them. If we tap them in and we have something on the rail needing welded or replaced, we just unbolt it, fix it and put it back down. I think that would be the best way to do it.
Okay.
So, next thing I had was bids on culverts for the 900 road project.
Where's that? You got it? Oh. Sorry.
I'm just asking you to open and read those and then send them back for qualifications so we can look at those prior to making a recommendation.
So this is the only thing we're waiting on is the material now? We've got
Yes.
everything's ready to go?
All the permits are ready. Everything's ready as soon as we pick the material and the project time.
This one's from Wellborn Sales out of Salina, Kansas. 120 feet of 132-inch 10-gauge galvanized CMP, 4 30-foot joints, and the two bands, $34,327.26. If we were able to take them in 60-foot lengths, they would deliver them for $31,938.
This bid's from Contact, let's see, it's 10 gauge, 5-to-1 corrugated, 132-inch diameter, 30-foot lengths, quantity of 4, delivered price, $249.29 a foot, the bands are $40 each.
This one, mine's from Metal Culverts and it's same what Jim just said. Four pieces at 30 foot for $336.50 a linear foot. And the bands are $670 each. And then lifting lugs are $80 a set for 4 sets. And this is going under the declaration of the disaster, whatever, right?
Yeah, we're going to put in for the mitigation of that.
Yeah.
Those in the back. Next thing I had for you is an assistance application. This is a pretty cut and dried one that we do on a regular basis for FFA, Jayhawk Linn FFA, to dig land judging pits at the fairgrounds. I think they've dug in several locations since I've been
I've
here.
dug on some ground I had one time for that. We've done that multiple times, years back, I mean, before
We did Centerville and other locations since I've been here, but
the county came out and dug it for them.
Where are we at on all that with any kind of assistance? I mean, I know one time we kind of stopped accepting assistance and then, or the applications for assistance.
well, most of the assistance applications that have stopped, the ones like this that we're tracking are ones that and like the county fair, the things that we've done on a yearly basis. I haven't had anything that was large-scale projects or anything that was out of the normal to bring to you in some time. And at some point, I would expect direction on whether or not you want me to accept those when I do get them.
That's kind of where I was. I'm not saying anything against that. I mean, is it something that the STARS program could get involved with if we gave the equipment? I mean, or is it?
This project,
Radar equipment. Right.
They don't have any way of hauling it out there and things. That's the whole deal, that they're just gonna dig some. It's for land judging that, multiple schools will come in for it.
The whole district.
I'm good with it.
Okay. I am too.
A little bit.
I'll make a motion that we approve the assistance application for the Jayhawk Land FFA for the soil judging contest.
I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Second I had was the 1077 road project north of 900. It started today. As you remember, we had rented a plate compactor for this project. The project kept settling. They pulled half the roadway in an effort to keep the roadway still open. They pulled the cold patch off of the west side of the roadway, took out the clay, and started packing with that plate compactor, started packing rock around those tubes. Problem we ran into is there's clay on the other end. One end of the tube moves, the other end of the tube moves. It's impossible at this point to get compaction without opening up the whole trench. So at this point, what I'm asking to do is shut the roadway down tomorrow, open the whole trench, pull out the material and plate compact while we have this compactor, the whole surface area. The shops have already identified a detour around it. I would put out a notification this evening and notify law enforcement and emergency personnel that tomorrow there would be a detour around that area, and then we would pack that back in. My largest fear is if we do not do this and open it up completely, we're going to continue. We were pushing water out of the other side that was not opened up, and the mud was just pushing the water out of it. We're not going to get compaction with one end moving and the other end moving along with it.
My only thoughts on it are, you said notify the sheriff's department. Let's use our notification system that we don't use, that we spent all this money on. I'd like to.
Well, I actually did put it out on this one.
I put it out on that, and I'll put it out before I leave tonight, try to get as much notification as possible, and then contact the sheriff's department before I leave this evening.
I got an email or a text message from that they did notify, it was on their notification system.
You guys got any issues with it? With this?
No.
I'm good with it.
Okay, the next thing, the other two photographs that I gave you below the first one. If you look at those photographs, this is a hand-laid arched culvert, Baskerville south of 1800 Road. Okay, this culvert is a very large culvert, better, I believe, than 6 foot. I checked with our on-call engineer. Given the water drainage into the area, no permits are needed. But at the same time, you can see the fix that they had, and it's speaking to an area resident. It was in his mind when he was in school 25 years ago, when this thing started to fail and the top started to come in on it, they shoved a metal culvert section on the west side of it. to hold it up in case it fell. The problem is, I'm sorry, that was the east side. The west side of the roadway, the head wall, they put dead men down and then put a cross member to hold the head wall in place. That too is failing at this time and now is silting off the side of the roadway because it did in the spring rain go over the top of this location. I contacted our on-call, no permits are needed to replace this section. He gave me the sections that and sizes that would need to be bid. I am looking at one culvert section that could be made with a head wall in place on it, and would like to bid that, but would like your permission to go out to bid. He's believing that it's going to take 3 48-inch culverts or 36 feet of space to go through this and to clear that water,
What's the address on this?
1800 in Baskerville.
just south of 1800 in
Is
Baskerville.
it, is this bridge, is it on the National Registry? I think we have 2 or 3 bridges in the county that are.
This is not a bridge. This is a hand-laid rock culvert.
Well, it's over 4 foot. Is there a railing on it?
I'm sorry?
Is there a railing on it?
No,
Considered a, it's
no.
over 4 foot deep. It's considered a bridge, right? Isn't that correct?
20 foot from start to beginning on the roadway.
It was from like the depth though. I thought it was
No,
4
20 foot on the roadway. Anything above 20 foot is a bridge. Everything below that is a culvert, either box or, and again, all I'm asking is for permission to go out to bid on this.
Thoughts, guys? I mean, we got to do something, right?
You're going to go with the steel wall or what you said?
I'll bid it in several different ways, but one of the ways I'd like to bid it is with basically a smash tube with a head wall already pre-manufactured onto it.
This was brought to your attention just because of the way it is, or
Landowner in the area.
that's what I'm. Is this not something that could have went out with the bids we just opened?
We didn't know about it at the time.
I know, I think that's where our,
Well, I'm just like Danny. Why do we drive across these kind of things and we grade these roads and we don't see this stuff? Why does the landowner have to bring this to us?
that's where I think our full-time ditch culvert crew would come in very handy. So this tube only goes halfway through, is that what this is?
Yes.
They just poked it into the side that was collapsing.
So you're just wanting to go out for bids on it?
Correct.
I'm okay with him going out for bids.
I'm okay with it. I just think we need to start catching this stuff ourselves.
Okay, the next thing I had is not on your list. It came up later. We have a large storage of enzymes for solid waste use, more than what we would use. And we've had a request from a Gerard in the Public Works Department there, who has a need for those things. The material that we have is a lot more than we would use in my estimation, in better than 36 to or better months. I mean, this is a large amount of enzymes, and it's nothing in the systems we have that I would be encouraged to use. So with their operation, they're in need of those currently. We could get rid of the shelf stock. If you agree to it, I would send it to them and then bill them or invoice them for our cost of those items, and get rid of them from storage.
You guys have an issue with it?
And you're going to do that at the normal price. We're not taking a discount, nothing that way.
No, it's whatever we gave for the materials.
How did we end up with so much of it?
It was ordered through our maintenance department for operations both at the park and Centerville, and I would assume any of the other locations like the landfill that we had for solid waste.
I'm good with it. I mean, it's good. You good with it?
I'm good with getting rid of it.
Pleasanton Senior Center had their open house over the weekend. Pretty good turnout there.
53, they said?
I'm sorry,
People? 53?
I believe so.
There's some pictures I had him print off for you guys. It's bathroom, hallway. Just some, if anybody wants to see them out there, you can look at them. I used to have some before, but I couldn't find them. I went and talked to them today too. They were very happy with it. And
Good.
Very good attendance, well received, and we did have one request. One of the seniors that attends asked if it would be all right to have a hour-long meeting session with the seniors after their normal dinner or meal time, as a congregational time for those seniors to meet and discuss topics, concerns, things of that nature, but did reach out to us to ask. They didn't know whether it would take or not, but ask if we would be okay with them keeping the building open for an hour a week for that purpose.
And it pretty much just gives them something to do, and people that aren't involved in the program can come and talk, right?
Can come, sit, congregate, talk about their concerns, and at least offer support to one another.
I'm okay with it. I mean, and it doesn't have anything to do with Ottawa or anything like that. So
No.
you good with it?
I am.
Okay. 1150 in Jackson Road. Mr. Johnson reached out to me this week. This is a minimum maintenance road that the owner in the area would like us to gravel from 1150 down to a driveway on that minimum maintenance road. Because of the minimum maintenance issues and the concerns we had in the Pleasanton area, I was looking for directions from you as to what you would like to do on these minimum maintenance roads and these type of requests, and how you'd like me to handle them as far as putting in service request form. What do you want me to do with these requests, and how do you want me to proceed with them?
I was reached out on this one, and they've built a house down there, a barn dominium, and it was a minimum maintenance road. It's been for years. But different landowners bought it and put a house or a barn dominium down there. I don't know if he lives there, if it's a weekend deal or.
What's our normal procedure on something like that? I mean, if
Minimum maintenance is minimum
when they
maintenance.
call, we go maintain it, right? I mean, they're still taxpayers. They just don't get the every month type grading, right?
That's correct. The one that we talked about over there in Pleasanton, it was 3 to 5 years at a time between requests. We're talking about 5, we believe, truckloads of rock. And you're talking about a roadway that hasn't seen that kind of maintenance in a number of years.
It's been,
So-
it's,
I mean, it's still our duty to maintain. It's not, it's not vacated or nothing like that, right?
goes a mile and a half through, I believe, but he's not asking for the south.
Go all the way through.
No, he just wanting it from the north to his house or to his barn.
I'm okay with doing it.
Okay. So in the future, if we have those requests and don't see a lot of history as far as maintenance, I can assume that just making it passable and fulfilling a request on a road that has a residence on it is acceptable.
When we make it minimum maintenance, that's kind of what we pass to the landowners, right? That if they need a maintenance, they call and let us know and we go out and do it, right?
Correct.
Well, we grade this road. I mean, we keep it graded.
How do we-
And I mean, it gets 4-wheeled and everything else to it, but then we go back and fix it. But it's been opened up probably 25 years ago. It was closed, you couldn't go through it, and it got opened up 25 years ago. The county went through and fixed it to where landowners could get down it.
Okay.
And then this guy just reached out. I didn't even know the house was down there.
I'm okay
The
with it.
barn dominium was.
Okay. Apologize, I missed Joyce's email, so I did not get in your agenda the service requests from 1/1/24 to current. Total is 392, 26 remain open. Service requests received this past week, 14 with 5 still open, 1 for mowing, 1 for pothole repair, 2 requests for gravel, plus 1 request for tree removal at the park. Activity reports by location should have been sent out late. I apologize. And you have 965 roads worked out of 1275 with a 76% completion. South Shop this week received all of their culvert orders. This will enable them to start on a fairly busy schedule replacing culverts. They'll replace 3-foot culvert on Lyman this week, a 5-foot culvert, this week with a 5-foot culvert as requested by the landowner. While at Lyman, we closed out a request to clean ditches as well, started ditching 600. And Payne, as requested, in conjunction with the conversation we had with the landowner regarding his service request, he has submitted the request for quail, which was a different location. Mowing is continuing at a steady pace. We've had some issues this week with mower decks, mostly normal wear and tear. Craig has been able to quickly rectify these issues and get the equipment back up and running. Craig replaced an injector line on 323, the Centerville grader, and an injector on 321, the Mound City grader. Putting both machines back to work. He has started the repair on the 953 loader from the landfill. Believe that he will have all the parts to start reassembling the machine by the end of the day. We are preparing for the patch repair on 1077 and 900. It's anticipated take no more than 2 days, as they understood it at the time. And replacing culverts next week and planning to do tree removal at the Linn County Park at the park manager's request. We spoke before about 319. That's the New Holland tractor. Its original purchase price was $67,750. The original bid for parts and labor to repair that was at 14,740. We have a new bid with our labor to put that machine back together at $8,000.
I thought we talked about going ahead and putting it back together, right?
Not a lot. Well, so the graders, okay, I'm still on the graders. So we have,
This is on the tractor.
right.
They got those graders up and running. So the question right now is, right, are we sending it off to have it repaired or going with our labor and getting it repaired for $6,700 less?
And the total on the repair is actually parts $8,062.50 at this point.
This was they had to split the tractor.
I'm sorry?
They had to split the tractor. I'm trying to remember what.
It's the one with the rear end pulled out on one side because of a,
It's the one sitting down there.
yes. It's got the rear end out on one side of it.
Okay.
And I believe it lists all the parts that are needed to put it back together.
If they're capable of doing it, I think we should do it in-house.
I'm good with it. We can handle it.
Sounds like they got a lot to work on.
Yes.
Do we need a motion for this or what do we?
Just to approve it because it's over my spending limit.
You guys got any questions, concerns on it?
Pardon me?
You said you guys got any questions or concerns about it?
No.
Got to get it back together. It's sitting down there quite a while. Jack,
I'll make a motion that we go with our new bid for parts of $8,062.50 to replace or to fix Unit 319, the New Holland tractor.
I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's Explorer.
Next Friday will be
It's a different one. That was when we were splitting the tractor.
Next Friday will be Mike Nation's last day. As you see, the foremans are offering to jump in if we don't find operators to fill those positions. I've got with Benny, he's going to do interviews with candidates this week. And I'll hopefully have recommendations to fill that position next week for you. Also, you should have seen attached pictures of ditching, tube replacements, and other projects from the south shop. North shop, Jesse got an unsolicited email from a Mr. Boley. Just wanted to send this email to let you know. I got Mr. Boley's driveway application back from Jesse and invoiced him yesterday afternoon, not even 5 minutes later. I emailed him the invoice. He called in to pay for it over the phone, and he gave Jesse rave reviews in handling the project. And he's a huge fan. Joyce reaching out to Jesse to let the shop guys know that they'd got a positive response from one of their projects. This week, North Shop blades were out, maintaining roads. Mowing happened every day. Tree trimming around the North District happened most of the week. Landhill's been in touch with Jesse all week. Areas that need attention are now in spec of where they should be in phase 1. Next week, we'll be going to do a walkthrough on phase 2. The John Deere from the North Shop. Before I get to that one, we also had another grader 123 that had a water pump go out this week, but I believe they either have it back together or they are getting the parts to put that back together here shortly.
So I keep hearing about all these graders, and we're doing everything in-house. I'm confused on, do we not have some kind of maintenance agreements with, I mean, don't we spend $7,000 a unit or something like that? Do you guys know where we're at on that?
The grader that we're talking about, the one that we're looking at now, 324, was one of 3 that had a 7-year or 7,000 hour maintenance agreement on it, and we opted not to return those and purchase new graders. We kept them past that 7-year or 7,000 hour service. It looks like
But didn't we buy warranties or something like that?
that was the warranty that was purchased.
7 or 7,000.
It was an extra warranty purchased for that.
So the ones that we have warranties on now are not the ones we're talking about.
Well, this one currently is the one that the warranty expired on.
Okay.
I have 3 different options with this John Deere, and forgive me for not being able to give you any better description of what is going on with it, but from speaking to our mechanic in the North Shop, there is a large gear that runs the mow board, and it is brass, a large circular gear that turns that mow board. That is being chewed apart by another gear and diminishing the thickness of that brass. In order to fix that, we're going to have to fix the original problem. Parts alone to fix that, if we put it back together and use the same casing, would be $58,4732. In order to buy casing and all, which is more preferable to the first, because obviously if you dig into it, you're going to find other things or other issues. This is a plug and play unit. To fix it would be $10,440.65. They also took the extra step to talk to John Deere and find out what the replacement value and or cost would be if you chose to replace that unit. They are looking at the value of that piece of equipment as $88,000. And with the total in other warranty, or I'm sorry, in other discounts, you would be looking at roughly or exactly $297,375 to replace the unit itself.
With the trade-in of the other one? And that was with the trade-in, that would be our cost?
385,000 for a new one.
Detailed on page 2. And these two are parts alone, which is, again, we would have to pull the casing and everything apart, which is very undesirable according to mechanic, and then a plug and play with the unit itself to get it back going. The unit is currently working, but it has play and it is taking thickness off of that brass gear as it's being used.
Is there anything else wrong with the machine?
Not that I've been told or aware of.
Well, I'm for repairing the one we have.
Wanting to put in a new gearbox?
Pardon me?
New gearbox or just open it up?
Well, I don't know how many hours it'll take to fix it if we piece it back together.
He didn't give me an estimate on the hours. His only suggestion was to buy the plug and play with a box because he believed you're going to be, by the time he gets done with the hours and the extra parts needed, you're going to be in that ballpark anyway.
And we can switch it ourselves with it.
That's correct.
I would be in favor of the new gearbox. I don't really like the idea of buying the new grader.
Pardon me?
I don't really like the idea of buying the new grader.
No, I'm not either. I mean, from $10,440.65 gives us a new gearbox versus the parts for $58.47.
Yep.
32, and then we have to put it together.
So after we get it put together, should we get rid of it and look into leasing, or? It sounds like we have a lot of issues with a lot of equipment. Do we not?
We've had several breakdowns, but as far as the condition and the viability of the equipment, I'd have to bring the mechanics in to give you that kind of estimate. I mean, to speak on the viability of each one of those pieces would be beyond me.
I'm always working on everything I'm running. I mean, no end in sight.
I'm usually working for Linn County, not my company anymore, so. You get a lot done.
Huh?
You get a lot done.
No, I'm working on it.
That's what I'm saying.
I would be in favor of the complete unit, fixing it and getting it back. And just like Danny said, let's look, I wouldn't mind looking at leasing the grader, just see what one does, what we could lease one for.
Okay.
Just like we did on the tractor, I mean, go out and get a lease on one and look at it and see what's available out there with different companies.
I'm not opposed to it. Always willing to look at those options.
So say we lease the grader, just an extra one, because we have all these issues. Will that declaration cover that?
If you leased one or a specific piece of equipment for a project,
We do a lot of extra work on the roads, which messed up our equipment.
well, if you did it on a project, my understanding, like the 900 road, if you rented a crane to put those tubes in, there would be some compensation back on that if the project was approved. But as far as just leasing a piece of equipment for general road maintenance, I don't know that there would be any compensation for that.
So do we need to do up to a certain amount? I mean,
If you approve and whatever the $10,000 bid was, it's to the number and it should be correct.
what you want to do to the number. You don't think they're gonna come back and say, you know, we had to put a little more in to do this because of that?
If there were a set of bolts or anything that was under my price range that was reasonable to approve, then I would approve it. But if it's something that the mechanic told me should come with it, then we would hold them to the number. But he's done enough work on it. I don't expect there to be any hidden cost on it.
I'll make a motion that we go with the new gearbox option for $10,440.65 on grader unit 324.
I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, Pleasanton, first 11 photos that you received are 536 Road. The next 5 are from 1077 north of Blue Mound. The next 2 photos were Vernon Road and 850 Lane. Last 5 photos were from the courthouse parking lot. They did a lot of patching and trying to pick things up in between grading operations. They've been running both blades all week and prepping equipment for the 1077 project. We are at a point, if I could, before I finish up, if we could do 5 minutes of executive session for non-elected personnel.
Well, I got a question. You stated in your report something about cleaning trees out of the park.
Yes.
What's that about?
There are a couple of trees that the equipment needed to remove them. They don't have. So they reached out to the shop and asked for assistance with large equipment.
I am 100% against taking our county guys and going and doing anything like that right now at the park. What do you guys think?
I can look at
Gotta
it.
be the North District guys.
I can look.
I don't care who it is. I'm against it. I think that, I mean, if they're, so Todd and Pleasant and crew went over and did all the patching over here at the courthouse.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a lot of roads in my district that are bad. My road is horrible. My road is horrible.
They had blades running, but they also had time to try to patch some complaints that they had and that were still outstanding. But the blade still operated while they took care of the patchwork.
I'm against it.
What, just tree limb removal or what?
I would believe it is much larger than that, but I haven't had time to be personally involved. What I would recommend is you allow me to go down and be involved. And if it's a safety concern, go ahead and have it removed. If it's something that can wait till later than the fall, we'll schedule it for later. But there are some issues that come up in and around the campsites that do need to be handled fairly quickly. And if it's not a liability, we'll schedule it out further. But if it's a liability or it poses a risk to property or people, then I would recommend we take care of it as soon as possible.
I think, yeah, I mean, I agree. I think everybody in my district would agree with you on the front ends of their trucks. I mean, mine just, I don't get it. Do we not have maintenance crews down there that does the mowing? That, I guess that's our marina clerk does that, right?
I'm sorry?
Our marina clerk is the maintenance guy too?
It has been until, I believe this week, we have one of our personnel coming back.
It only takes 2. I'm against it though. I'm against taking our road guys.
We could have, we got somebody clean up trees in this courthouse. We can contract it out, I guess. It's tree removal. We had a contractor here that cleaned up the courthouse lawn.
I guess I'm confused on what our priorities are with road and bridge. Like work orders, we just pull all these people off and go do a work order? I don't, I mean, where does it, how do we determine what's important and what's not?
The foreman sets the priority, and if they can fit something in that is a priority, they fit it in. Just like the patching, we had some rain last week. Like I said, Todd kept the graders going in his area, took a small crew himself, I believe, and another individual, and cold patched what he could to keep the complaints down in other areas. But I think they're trying to keep the focus on the road and use as many people that they have available during breakdowns and other opportunities to do these other projects. They're not trying to pull anyone from road projects. As I said, if these projects aren't a priority, if they're not an emergency, of course, we can schedule them for later, but if it puts property or people at risk, if you'll allow me to go take a look and make a decision on it, whether or not it's a risk to property or people, then I can go down, take a look and see what we need and make a minimal assessment as to whether or not it needs to be done immediately.
Okay.
All right, I guess we'll go on with that.
And I said we're at a point, if we can take 5 minutes for non-elected personnel for executive session, it would be a good time to do that before I finish up the list.
Well, we're back. Bobby, how much time do you need? Do you just want to do 5 with Sean and then continue on 15 with Bobby and then come back?
Well,
You guys, you good?
Jennifer, that was on the agenda about half an hour ago, is here too, for Economic Development Committee.
Executive session too, right?
all you gonna take,
It's not gonna take very long. I'm gonna say my piece, and then you're gonna say your piece, and then we'll come to a decision on what we're gonna do. I talk fast, so.
We don't make decisions fast. You want to start with 5 minutes or 10? Jennifer, 10 minutes? 10 minutes? So you just want to do it all at the same time?
that's fine.
So 25 minutes total, 5 with Sean for non-elected personnel. What'd you say, 20, or what'd you say? 15 for Bobby, for personnel, and what would Jennifer be, just 10 minutes?
So 30 minutes total.
You got 30 minutes total.
For a total of 30 minutes. We'll be back at 7:25.
Second.
Motion moved, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Danny had to go to the bathroom, so we're going to extend executive session for 15 minutes. Is that good?
It's fine.
I make a motion to extend the executive session for 15 minutes. We'll come back at 7:40.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have no action from executive session. Are we good to go?
We
Yeah.
got John's action.
From his part of it.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Correct. Sorry. Go ahead.
Commissioners, I would ask that you hire Mary Jane O'Connor for park cabin cleaner at $13.09 an hour, which is 3H.
I'll make a motion that we hire Mary Jane O'Connor at a 3H for cabin cleaning at the Linn County Park.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Second thing is I'd ask that you allow me to publish job openings for economic development and a operational road director.
I'm good with that.
Jim?
We can post it, I guess, and talk about.
We'll define it when they come in for interviews. That way.
Yeah.
I won't list any qualifications, descriptions, or prices, but just the description of the position itself, that we're taking applications for that position for that department.
Not really just like a
It-
job description complete. Okay.
That's correct.
Okay,
I'm good with that.
start the process.
Okay. Terracon did the well sampling for the 30-year groundwater monitoring event. They were able to sample all the wells, including MW5, and delivered the samples to the lab on person and Friday. Typically, it takes 7 to 10 business days to complete an analysis and issue a report. He estimates the delivery of their report to us will be on or a little before September 13. Having said that, I do have Parker compactor numbers for replacement of the unit. I also have Porta-John numbers for you, and a noxious weeds report, which I can bring all of those to you next week. I know you've got a lot this evening still going on. If you'd like to take those up next week, those are not pressing items. And I do myself have to get to Wichita. I'll be in conference the next 3 days for wastewater management along with Darren Wilson, who's an operator in training. We'll be working from that location and be available by text during training. But I do have one item that does need some direction from you, and that is the storm damage and roof reports and what you'd like to see as far as bids for those. David would have to tell you when we have to make the decision, but I sent those out to you, and these cover all of the hail damage done to the buildings and structures in I believe most of them Mound City, Pleasanton area. I haven't completely looked at the list, but it also covers the steeples on the courthouse, our old courthouse. So you're going to want to look at the opportunity if you're going to hire somebody to bring in a crane high enough to get up there. You might want to look at some of the rotor damage at the same time, because the crane's going to be the cost. So we may want to change that bid to adjust it, even though insurance won't pay for some of that work. We may be able to get some of the cost of that crane taken care of at the same time. It also covers the old county attorney's building, and the damage to that roof, which you haven't made a decision as far as the viability of that building. David, when do we need an answer as far as how to put this out to bid?
Well, I think that's the big two decisions would be, if you want to repair the county attorney building, if you're gonna keep it, which I would think if you're keeping it, we're gonna need to repair it. And if you want additional work done on the courthouse roof when a crane's here anyway. Getting bids as soon as possible would be a good thing. They haven't set a time limit that we have to have it done. However, we don't want it to drag out and start getting phone calls of, why aren't you getting any bids yet? When are you gonna do this work? I mean, they're gonna be pushing to get it.
So is it
if they can.
just for this, the shingles on the steeple, or is it for the slate tiles on the roof?
There was some slate listed on that,
I don't-
just a few pieces.
I don't have the internet. I can't get on it, but what, I mean, did they have?
Yeah, you should have the complete report that was sent to you.
I don't have internet. I can't get on anything for some reason. Did they put money towards like,
So there's two files in there. I'm just looking for the other one. One of them was a breakdown that gave some pretty good detail on everything that was, that they were.
I did it on the fiscal report on our same tiles, and that's not, they're number one, they're really hard to find.
Yeah, the courthouse tile part of the roof, it looked like they were talking about 35 pieces of slate that need to be removed and replaced. The bell tower roof needed to be done. Quite a bit on it. And I think, obviously the decision on whether or not to get additional work that we might want done would be something you guys would have to make. I think for bids, we're gonna want somebody to bid exactly what's covered here. And then if you want them to also bid additional work, let them know what that work is, or there's always if they get up there and they find more damage that they think is storm related, then that would be a discussion between them and K-Camp to determine if that was covered storm damage or not.
And that may be that you contract a roofing company to do the steeples, they hire out the crane, and then we talk to the crane company and say, look, we're going to hire another
You
contractor.
can do that. Brandon McGinnis, when I worked for him right out of high school, he was the last company to do it. Him and BJ Skipper, they did the steeple out of a 65-foot JLG.
A what?
A 65-foot JLG lift. They got stuck in the middle of the courtroom or the courthouse lawn.
I couldn't tell you what that is, but
It'd be way cheaper to do it that way, but
As long as it's dry.
where you put plywood down.
It wouldn't have to be very damp for one of those to sink in along.
but that's going to be the decision, what you want done with those roofs, the old county attorney building, if you want those bid out.
I
And
don't
if
think we do anything with the county attorney building.
So even that there's money that we'd be getting for that, and if we decide not to mess with it, even though we had insurance, I think we use them funds somewhere else, or how's K-Camp look on that?
That's something I'd have to ask. I don't know.
Yes, we could check into that, I guess, and see, and then,
So, and I don't necessarily think you need to make a decision on these things tonight, but you need to think about it, and soon we need to figure out what direction we're going.
I know that Kevin took his drone up there, and they got some really good pictures. You guys remember those emails?
Yeah, and that's the way I think they did look at the courthouse roof, was through drone photos, because the inspector that was here didn't really have a way to get up on it that day. Now, the other roofs, they did get on the ground.
That's correct. So if you want to take a look at that, and then we can address it next week. Also, the Parker compactor, a refurbished unit's 37, a new unit 76. Install for either is 17. Refurbished comes 90-day warranty. Does not cover power issues or power unit. New is a 1-year warranty. This unit has been down and caused us a lot of trouble. Again, we're not talking about the outside unit. We're talking about the controller and the unit pump inside the building. And of all the units we've got, this is the one we spend a lot of our time trying to troubleshoot. The board's been bypassed. A lot of creative engineering has gone into keeping this thing going this long. The contractor that I talked to that put the unit together from R&R Midwest told me the most desirable thing to do to this would be to put in the new unit, because if you're just putting in a refurbished unit and you have the same power issues that we've had the last several times, you're possibly going to have the same problems. And
Why are we continually having the same power problem? What's wrong?
for some reason in that area, we had two back-to-back storms. One took out a disconnect on the pole. The other took out an air conditioner and 4 or 5 fuses in the building. It's my understanding, and it's very simple understanding, that the type of unit this is a special type of three-phase that's not used, or an antiquated type of three-phase that's not used much anymore, where the third phase is the ground wire. So even though we trip the breaker every night before we leave the building, if there's a power surge or anything else, there's still a direct way for that power to enter in through that system, and we've had plenty of trouble with this control board because of that.
So we're going to address that too, or?
If
Fix that problem?
I'm not for sure if there's a way to put a disconnect, but if we go with either one of these solutions, my suggestion would be first to work with an electrician to try to fix that problem, because if we don't stop, one of them, I believe, was a tree down the roadway that caused an issue that took out a power line, and that caused the disconnect. We were trying to work out one issue and then another issue cropped up, but this location above all the other locations we have the most trouble with. And the board inside that unit, where you go from hand to manual or automatic, the board's been bypassed. So it only works in hand mode because, again, it's hard to get parts for something this old. So to refurbish this unit would be taking a chance on it. And that's the reason it's got a 90-day warranty. As far as this goes, again, this is not something, it's running, it's up and going, that we have to address today. But I can reach out to the electricians and find out if there's another way to disconnect or better protect that building in the interim. But it's something that you need to keep on the burner, along with the roof systems that we need to address in the very near future.
What about the contracts with them?
I'm sorry?
Contracts with the compactor sites, with the cities?
With the cities, we have not addressed that yet. I have not gone city to city to address those. And if you
We brought
would,
them all in here and we addressed it. Now that's what this has been going on for what, 2 years?
correct. If you're wanting me to deliver that,
A few months left. I just want to get it done. It's something.
if you want me to deliver that, you can tell me in an email to deliver it in an email to them, or to go to their meetings and deliver it direct. The one that's prepared.
What do you guys want to do? Email. You guys good with that?
It's fine.
I mean, we're not asking a lot. We're going to pay for their licensing. We're just giving them the ability to do what they want on the property, right?
The permitting, yes.
So I don't understand what the holdup is.
I
I mean, we're going to pay for their permitting too, right? I mean,
Yes, we agreed to pay for the permitting.
Pay their permitting, and then they're just gonna be the permit holders, right?
I think so.
That's correct. So if you're ready to push that out to them, I'll push it out to them.
I'd like to get it signed next Monday. It's been going on for a long time. I mean,
Okay.
what's your guys' thoughts on it?
I mean, this is something that Mark Hagan was working on.
Well, he's not here
Trying to-
anymore. So
right.
do we just need to retain a lawyer or go to Burton, or what do we need to do? I mean, where are we at?
I would suggest if you're going to do this, you push it out to them and get any responses you get back, because if you're going to go to legal, you might as well know what question you're going to ask before you go there. So you're not going to know what if any questions they have or any
We gave them
recommendations.
the opportunity to come in here and ask every question. We brought every single city in here and we asked them before they left, give us your concerns and your comments, and nobody said one thing, right?
And I'm fully aware of that, but I also believe that if we push it out before we send it to legal, that we may have some new questions brought back to us. So I'll do it either way, but if you'd like me to push it out, I'll push it out. And anything I get back, I can bring in a pile and we can address and we can move forward with it.
Then we can see what their questions are then.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'll get it moving as quickly as possible. The rest of the items on my list, we can address next week. You have the noxious weed reports, the porta-johns, and the online reservation systems. I believe there's several people that are ready for me to stop talking and for you to move on with your meeting. And I do have a lot of travel tonight, and will be available by text the rest of the week during training. Both Darren and I will be available and taking our work with us.
There's one thing I do want to talk about. Can we get any information from Jessica about the airport, where we're at on that? What the trail of communication between her and whoever was?
I have had all of her emails pushed over to me. If you'd like me to pull all of those, I will pull them this week and push those out with my weekly report.
I would like.
That should give all those updates.
I haven't heard anything from that one guy that said he'd get back with us. I guess I could reach out to him, but I thought he said it'd be after the 9th, and it's quite a bit after the 9th.
Okay. Reach out to him again, Jim.
Okay.
And I'll push the latest I've got on the emails if I find anything out to you in your weeklies.
Front door over there locked. The other part of the building.
Along with those, this has keys to everything. I'll get them when I get back.
Okay.
Well, have fun in Wichita or wherever you're going.
It'll be a long, boring classes, but like I said, we'll both be available for text and we'll be taking our computers with us. Commissioners, do you have anything else for me?
I don't.
I don't.
Thank you.
There's something last week we talked about, and this is just some basic stuff. Just the stickers or whatever for the tow trucks. Just I printed something up on the way over here. So, I mean, I don't know what your guys' thoughts on it are. So,
I don't have a whole lot of expectation.
I don't either. I mean, we've only had,
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty.
we only have 2 people, and you got a little tag to hang off the rear mirrors.
Well, if we don't get it done, though, it's gonna be a 7-month bill, so we have to get it done. So if that's okay, I'm just gonna order it in some colors and get it here.
Perfect.
You can pick the colors.
Get it. Never mind that.
Yeah, you're your designer.
Ready for that Constitution Week deal with Renee?
That's fine.
We're ready for you.
Daughters of American Revolution are promoting awareness of the Constitution. It was adopted September 17, 1787. In August, we go around to the counties and the cities in Miami and Linn County and ask the mayors and commissioners to sign a Constitution Week proclamation to post on a site for everyone in the community to see and view and think about our Constitution and the rights that we have. Also, in September, we promote the Constitution by going to the schools and presenting the Constitution to the students in Miami and Linn County. That's it, and I'd like to have you sign a proclamation. I don't know if you want to read it. It takes a little bit of time, but
I've got 2 copies there to sign when you pass.
and I'd
that.
like to get a picture, always a picture, so I can send it to my state.
What, you want me to read it?
You want to take
Oh,
it?
if you want, I mean,
Can.
Yeah.
Or you want to just sign it?
You ready to sign them?
Sure.
Oh, get together.
big old group hug, guys. I love each
Apart.
other.
Well, you're so far apart.
I love you. I'm gonna miss you guys in 2 months.
All right, you ready?
Where's the Constitution? Oh, get it out there. I mean, the proclamation.
Took about 3 shots.
That's history right there.
You want any, I know you have these, so you got them last year. Oh, you
I
got
live by
yours.
mine. I carry it every
Okay.
day with me.
Well, I
got one too.
You got one too. Well, I just want to say that this is what the government, the policy of the government. This is not what we're supposed to do. This is what the government is supposed to do. And also our rights are in here. So it's really important to have this in your pocket. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank
Can I
you.
take one of those?
Need a motion
I need
to
it sealed.
approve
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And let's go.
I'll make a motion that we approve the Constitution Week proclamation. Is that what you need?
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.
We sign and seal them.
Yep.
That way we'll keep one and send one with you.
And would you be able to use that in the courthouse? Will I be able to put up a display?
Sure, we'll come up with
Thank you
something.
so much. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Next item on the agenda, I think we got everything, right? Oh, we got public comment. But no Tom, no Tom, he can't talk. Anybody else but him, I'm just kidding. All right, we got some good laughs out here tonight. Do we got anything else? No public comment, I guess?
I already sent you guys, you ready? Or I already sent you some information, or at least I think an email and posted something about budget, but
Yep.
I didn't know if there's anything else you wanted to review, but I did get the fire budget down to revenue neutral also. So on the county and rural fire, I've got them right on revenue neutral. You've got next week is the hearing on that, where you'll have to have the neutral hearing, the resolution, and then the budget hearing. So if you've got other things you want to look at in that, let me know. I can try to work some things up, but I believe I've sent copies of the whole budget out to all of you. So I guess basically just if there's any other information you need, please let me know and I'll get it out to you.
Okay.
We are neutral the way I've got them prepared at the moment.
Fire department got down, it was the one that was over.
Yeah, that one was over, and I talked with Randy last week, and he reminded me that he's got a couple of pieces of equipment that are up for sale this year. And I put enough in there from the sale of that equipment to get us down to neutral. And I think that was a little lower than what you think you're gonna get out of them. So if we get more than that in, it just puts us in better shape next year.
Okay.
We got any other business?
I don't.
Jim, you got anything?
Yeah, David, I got a question. Is it you or who is it that is responsible for the information that went to the Corps request?
Well, it's kind of a combination. I got information from Chris and from the sheriff's office. I went back through and tried to do a bunch of redactions. And so I guess it's a combination of all of us.
So it's Sheriff's Department and Chris and then you, the two that's the,
Mm-hmm.
well, there's a lot of information there that was private, was put out.
Like a private conversations with other beyond the,
Family members. Some stuff that wasn't even asked for.
no, it was given out to other people or
Hmm?
it was given out to other people?
Well, it's been given to 5 people. Some of it ends up in a paper
That's right.
with a telephone number that wasn't even asked for.
I guess so where we. I mean, it does seem like we're all over the place on the quarter request.
Pardon me?
We are all over the place on the quarter request. That's why I didn't give my personal phone. It's that's exactly what I was scared of. So. David, is there like a statute of the way we're supposed to do this or what?
I mean, there are Cora statutes. As for the procedure on how it's done, I don't know that I've ever seen anything on procedures as how you get to that point.
Well, how did we go from screenshots with one quarter request to cell phones being turned in on another?
That was the first one I think we did with screenshots. And then when this came up, I was not aware that we even had anybody that could do the things that were done on this one with between Chris and the sheriffs, and with legal counsel's advice. That was the way we went on that one.
Well, I think you'll find that there's a lot of information out there that's been handed to people that was not asked for. And it concerns me.
So like other people that requested the quarter request that was asked of us, is that what you're saying?
Pardon me?
Like the quarter request that we were asked for?
Individuals was asked, the
So
quarter
people,
request
like,
was
enemies?
asked for.
If you would, enemies, I mean, is that what you're saying? Like enemies of you, or somebody trying to use something against you? I mean, is that what you're saying? Why would somebody,
Personal stuff.
no, I know, but is the other people that got it?
I don't know. Tell me.
I don't know who requested it. Is there 5 different people?
Had a total of 5.
5 people's gotten it.
Like just civilians?
Well, some of them are county people. I mean, do you want to talk about the list in here? I mean, I can, I don't care.
It don't bother me none. It's out there. I'll tell you what, we can talk about it as far as I'm concerned. But I'll tell you what, I'm really concerned about what
The original request was from the Journal, so they got the first copy. After that, the county attorney asked for a copy. He got one. Jim had asked for a copy. He has one. Tom Kemper got one. And the other one was not, Jake Wade didn't come in person, but sent someone in to get one. That's the 5 that have picked him up.
So everybody that's mad at us.
Hmm?
So everybody that's mad at us. That's why I didn't turn my phone in, for the record.
in the conversations, there'll be redacted versions in the conversations, and all of a sudden just private information out there. Not even with the time frames that they ask for, or the individual that they ask for.
I get your concern. That's why I didn't turn mine over. What do we do? I get it, Jim. I'd be pissed too. I mean,
Well, I'm
we
not
put a
the
lot
only
on
one.
we put a lot on the line here, and just to get ran through the mud, I get it.
I went out in good faith and gave it to them with what they asked for, and that's not what happened. That's all I got to say. I got my answer, so that's, we used a government agency to retract the information, and then we scatter private information out.
I feel you. That's why I didn't turn mine over. The same exact people that we represent in a grievance or a court case, we had to give our phone number to, and I didn't agree with it at all. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you. I
Yeah, we'll see.
bet they didn't find no conversation between you and I. All right. I know you guys are gonna miss me when I'm gone. Anybody else got any business?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second. Motion been moved, second, all in favor, say aye.
Uh,